So the question was, how is Agile product development different from waterfall? Yeah, that's actually defining the difference between Agile project management and waterfall is actually quite a difficult task, because most Agile teams that I encounter are really Agile under a waterfall. If we take that idea of waterfall and say, well, waterfall's just a symptom, what is the actual thing? You actually need to go back to the Industrial Revolution and the Tayloristic practices that created that in the first place, right? A whole bunch of ways of working, of how business should operate and how we should manage people was developed during the Industrial Revolution to manage a largely uneducated workforce. So all of those practices were designed around that idea, and then we move into the modern world, and most Agile teams still operate in an organization which uses those practices. So while they can get benefit from the iterative nature of Agile, right? So we take this big thing that we know we're going to develop and we break it down into smaller things. They are going to get benefit from that, right? Instead of everything happening at the end and huge amounts of risk, we're getting a little piece at a time, mitigating the risk of the product because we have usable working product every sprint, right? So we're getting that iterative, but we don't get incremental, because we're still building towards the same product that they asked for at the beginning. They asked for 1,000 things. At the end of it, we're going to deliver 1,000 things, and we can either deliver it once at the end or lots of times in between. But true agility comes from that decentralization and democratization of the way the business operates, so that they take advantage of their highly educated workforce that they didn't have before when the old practices were created. So everybody in your organization is working towards delivering value for your business, helping your customers, engaging with the market and reacting to the market, rather than it just all coming from the top with steering and budgets and control, right? So this, I feel like there's two answers to your question, right? Two answers to the question of what's the difference between waterfall and Agile is, in a traditional organizational structure, Agile reduces the risk of non-delivery. It reduces the risk that we're going to deliver the wrong thing. But until the organization adapts the decentralization practices and does things like, let's allow the team to change whatever requirement is required to change. That didn't make any sense, but allow them to change the requirements based on what they learn, allow them to change their processes based on what they learn. We'll never get that leap into that true exponential power of agility, which is how delivering not only high quality, but also delivering more of the right stuff and less of the wrong stuff. There's a great metric from, I think it's the Standish Group in Boston. They're kind of a data analytics group that analyze about 70,000 projects worldwide and put out a chaos report every year about how Agile's doing. And one of the things that they found was that only 35% of the features that we build in products are actually used by our customers, right? And that is intrinsically because when we say to the customer, we want some stuff for us to do, we're going to build a product for you. Let me start that part again. When we say to the customer, we're going to build a product for you, right? What do you need? The customer goes, ooh, what, I don't know what I need. Okay, well, here's what I need now. Here's 300 things I need now. So they all end up on the product backlog. And then they say, well, if, we've got some business decisions coming up. I actually think about it like the multiverse of madness, right? You remember Loki in Marvel? You've got all those branching different decisions that happen in a business, and down every branch in the decision making in our business, different features are required. Sometimes it's the same features, sometimes it's a subtle difference that we can handle, but sometimes it's quite a big difference. So until the business actually makes that decision in the future, they need the 50 features from this route and they need the 50 features from that route until they actually make that decision. And how many decisions like that is the business going to make over the next 12 months if we're doing a 12-month delivery? So they put all of those, there's another 1,000 features that they find all across the business for all these different branching decisions, and they put that on the backlog. How many of those do we actually need when we get to the end? How many of those are actually valuable when we get to the end? How many of the 300 features they gave us at the start are going to be no longer relevant in a year's time? How many of those branches did we take this route and now there's a whole tree of features down this route that are no longer valuable? That's why only 35% of the features that we build are actually used by our customers. And that's an industry average. Your company might be way worse, right? And I've worked with those companies that think that they know their customers better and think their customers use all of that. But until they actually add telemetry to their product and understand what percentage of their features in their product customers actually use, they don't realize how bad the situation is and how much money they're actually wasting.